Yeah, don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made.
Too late to change, I can't do a thing before. Uncle Irvin used to cut niggas' fingers off. He used to bring us fingers and ears in the eyeglass case, talking about mad bass and full scale from my last eighth. My father Butch was a kingpin, named Brands, I had him. Raised as a god, 120 electrons in the atom. Snatching lead packets, smacking alternative niggas, whatever's politically correct. I'm learning, nigga, my day ones was all trained to point lead like a sharpener. My father was a mason, his father was a carpenter. My iridology reveals a dichotomy, gangster or prophet. My psyche is psychology on top of beatboxes. A mill off detoxes, vegan, the shoes gated, the coat, 3 foxes. It's all contradictory, you can't do shit to me. I died already, every breath is a gift to me.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. Already it's the way the world made me. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. It must be so, cause baby, you never ever got to know me, to help me out with my problems. In this world's asylum, society's so conniving. In these streets where I'm from, you gotta pay me. You gotta pay me. It's the way the world made me.
The muscle game gone, it's brains over brawn, fake jury everywhere, street credit overdrawn. Is Alexander Bradley and Takashi just rats or agents of change? In the street culture for blacks, is that role working? You need soul searching, the whole burden got him looking for a new face like an old person. I'm the same nigga today that I always been. The nigga with the biggest dick in the room, I'm always him. Stereotypes is nonsense, nigga. Fuck you mean? I don't look exactly like a conscious nigga. When I tell you I get money off the books, I'm an author. I get money off the books. Face it, lame. Train your brain to make it rain like Drake and Wayne. Record magic like David Blaine. I always bet on me and make that money dance. I'm still selling herbs, nigga. I just switched to other plants.
So serious. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. Let's go. It's the way the world made me. Yeah. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. It must be so, cause baby, you never ever got to know me, to help me out with my problems. In this world's asylum, society's so conniving. In these streets where I'm from, you gotta pay me. It's the way the world made me. Yeah, yeah, don't blame me. Don't blame me now. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. Don't blame me. Don't blame me now. Yeah. You can't blame me. You can't blame me. It's the way the world made me. It must be so, cause baby, you never ever got to know me, to help me out with my problems. In this world's asylum, society's so conniving. In these streets where I'm from, you gotta pay me. It's the way the world made me.
Peace and infinite blessings, family. I am Brother Farugh Ma'at. Welcome to BMa'at Inc., where we share strategies and life lessons to empower, strengthen, and maintain the family nucleus from a Pan-African perspective. Today is March 21st, 2022. This show is dedicated to Frances Cress Welsing, the energy and spirit of Frances Cress Welsing. She gave us the knowledge, the real reason why racist this is, and the real reason why white people act the way they act. And if we take on that same mindset about our survival, we'd be better off, right? So this show is dedicated to her. My life is forever changed because she existed and she did the work she did for us as a people. keep her in mind as we go into this conversation. This is Women's Empowerment Month. We focus on a lot of great women doing great works in our community. Unfortunately, one had to cancel and postpone, so we have the divine um, doctor with us in her place. I'm grateful, but we still want to be acknowledging the fact that we are acknowledging that women energy, that feminine energy that nurtures and brought us to this plane. And so we're going to bring honor to that. For y'all, thank you for joining us in this global movement towards self-discovery and empowerment, which equals true liberation and true freedom. This is what this show was about. This is what this program is about. So let me give you a slight little information about this guest that we have with us today. Dr. Enqi, Bronx native, ordained minister, master herbalist, personal trainer, sports nutritionist, naturopathic doctor. Hold on, let me get my breath. Okay, as well as a consultant, author, and father. First and foremost, the most important thing, father, single father, um, which pulled to my heart because I went through that stint and I know how profound, how powerful that is. After a frightful experience with his health, he vowed to put health first, and we all have benefit from that decision. Thank you, brother, for that. We are healthier and living a better quality of life because of his research and his many contributions. We are experiencing a living legend amongst us. This living legend, Brother Enqi, thank you so much for being on air with us today.
Wow, thank you. That was nice. I appreciate that.
Hey, you deserve a lot more, brother. I just spoke from the heart, man, because like I said, man, this is new to me. I was familiar with Dr. Sabi. We brought him to the city of Philadelphia several times. Sister Beverly, um, she brought him in. I work with her with that, and then I work with Black and Nobel and brought him to Philly. Then, so I have personal connection with Dr. Sabi. And when you did the whole tour thing to make sure that his principles steadfast, that's for me, that's huge. I mean, and I just want to thank you for holding that integrity, for honoring um, the ones that put us on this platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, and hope and keep these brothers in check,
I
but
used to eat
you
up
keep them
there.
in check, brother.
I used to eat up there with at Miss Bev's spot all the time.
All the way live, yeah,
Yeah. I used to
yeah,
live up there. I used to live in Philly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
heard
used to,
about that.
then
So
I used to live in Black and Nobel.
yeah, man. Now he's down Fourth and South now, man. Doing things down Fourth and South Street now. Yeah, because that's when he was in the Broad and Erie session, and I used to live in that space, man. Did workshops there, um, with yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But let's get into it.
That's the real Black and Nobels. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the real Black and Nobel. That's the gritty right there. So I always like to ask, the first question I always ask is, who are you outside of this work? That way we can have some kind of like personal connection.
Um, just a guy from 158th Street in the Bronx, I guess.
Mhm.
Single dad, raising my little ones. I like long walks on the beach. I don't know. I mean, I'm just I don't know. I guess I'm 44 years old. In my mind, I'm just a regular guy. A lot of people have. I think everybody. I think we all went through a lot of a lot of stuff in our life. So those things kind of define. Those things kind of shape us and kind of define us. And those of us that are lucky enough, although those things shape and define us, we don't let them confine us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And we're able to, continue to do, hopefully
Right.
do what it is that we enjoy. I was just talking with a couple of guys from my neighborhood one of them, his son is in college basketball right now, from Jersey. I mean, yeah, from Jersey. They had beat Kentucky and Murray State. So, you know,
Oh
they
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So my homeboy, his son is on that team, you know, DB3, Dow Banks the third. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
good money right there.
yeah, everybody's he don't he's playing basketball, but he don't even know how many people he's making proud. Why he's, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Right.
people he don't know that maybe his dad know his let me see, his great grandfather, you know what I'm saying? His great grandfather was like a father to the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Shout out to Mr. Pete. But you know, just stuff like that. So we was having a conversation, and you know, I guess you know when you meet people, or when you see people from the neighborhood you haven't seen in a while, you know, y'all catch up,
Yeah.
and it's just always good to see people that are still themselves. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
They still moving around. They still look the same. They, you know, they because we've lost people.
Yes.
You know, we've lost people that I mean, we, you know, you from the neighborhood, you lose a lot of people, but
Yeah.
you know, we lost a couple of people that affected me maybe more than, you know, or more or differently, maybe affected me differently than maybe, you know, other folks because of what I do and my passion and my calling. Um,
Right.
but yeah, we lost one of my friends named Vic years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of one of the motivating factors of me, you know, being on the path. Like Vic went to play basketball with his dad behind the building, and Vic dropped dead from a heart attack. You know,
How
because he,
old?
I want to say Vic was maybe in his late 20s at the time, something.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Maybe
Yeah.
possibly his early 30s, but somewhere in that window.
Yeah.
But
Still young.
his dad was around 60. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so you know, that's not how that's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? And so things like that, you know what I'm saying? I lost one of my best friends. He had a heart attack, you know, just a couple years ago. So you know, like I said, it's always good to see folks that's still them. They still got their faculties, they still moving
Yeah.
around, they still
Yeah.
chasing their kids, you
Yeah.
know, because that's the thing. Sometimes we spend our life, you know, making sacrifices, trying to make ends meet, or get to the bag, so to speak, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time we get a few dollars, we're not in the shape to enjoy it. We're not healthy enough to,
Facts.
you know,
Facts.
we're not healthy enough to spend that time without, you know, we done blew it. You know,
Yeah.
we've sacrificed what was meaningful for what was temporal.
Mm. Mm. Facts. 'Cause I'm 48, and like I just played my son in basketball like a couple months ago, and I beat him. You know what I mean, so it's like to be in that space. And he was mad. He's mad as shit. I mean, he was mad. He was mad. And I told him, I said, look, so we just walk past Foot Locker, get yourself some sneaks, cause I'm bringing it. He said, no, I'm good. You know, he all fly. He got his boots on. He all fly with it. I'm like, dude, no, I'm bringing it. You better go get some sneaks, some shorts. We're gonna get it. And I hit that three to shut the game down. And he was pissed. He took his shirt off. You know, I was already up by 10. So now he take his shirt off. He's serious now. Then I hit that three to end the game. Now I said, I told you. Next time you take my advice, go get yourself some new sneaks, some socks, some shorts, get the
I'm
headband, get
ready.
all that. I'm ready. Like I'll walk when I wake up in the morning. I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like so like, and I have a plant-based, not a totally plant-based diet, but I could do better. I could definitely do better. And so I'm going to definitely be leaning on you to get the sea moss and do the regimen, the 40-day fasting. I'm going to hit on you about that. Um, so let's get into it. Let's get into the diabetes. Why would you? I seen that you was changing the diabetes, type 2 diabetes, to Melanin disease. Like, why?
Because
If that's accurate.
no, absolutely. That's what I, you know, going through the research and just doing the work and working with so many people after a while, that was my conclusion. I was like,
Mhm.
sugar seems to primarily attack the
Wow.
pigment in your body. The reason why, it's the leading cause for heart disease is because, it attacks the pigment that controls your heart. So a lot of people don't know, what I'm saying? No, even the whitest white person, if they have a heartbeat, it's because
Right.
there's pigment in control of that. Melanin is in
Mhm.
control of that heartbeat.
Right.
Um, your neurons, your brain cells, the leading cause of brain disease, Alzheimer's, dementia is diabetes, type 2 diabetes.
Right.
And so the reason is because it attacks the neuromelanin in the brain. So when you do your A1C test, they're checking the pigment that we know of as hemoglobin to see how well or how much the sugar has covered it up. Right. So
Wow.
all throughout the body, even with circulatory issues, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, I'm mad, you know what I'm saying? Because I go through this thing with, black folks.
Mhm.
I have gold teeth, gold chain, so that already presents certain mental issues. We
Mhm.
expecting to see a doctor with gray hair and a white jacket and Harvard grad. Like
Mhm.
I went a different route. So that's an issue in and of itself. So you know, people would rather be caught up in that part
Mhm.
than think to themselves that we could change the world, meaning watching my pocket, in their mind, not wanting me to do well.
Mm.
They would rather not share information that could be life-saving, definitely life-changing,
Mhm.
than to somehow think that they're promoting me. Like, for instance, and I'm bringing this back to your question. The last year, not last year, year before last, February 2020, we about 3 months into the pandemic situation.
Mhm.
I tell everybody that the ACE2 protein is going to make, black folks a target with this corona thing. You know what I'm saying? Because melanin regulates that ACE2 protein. So that could have been shared and transformed the whole scope of the last 3 years
Mm.
if we would have understood how to deal with that, right?
Mhm.
Because the ACE2 is regulated via angiotensin. Angiotensin is regulated by renin by vitamin D by your skin pigment, right?
Mhm.
Or your melanin in your skin. So just that in and of itself, if we could have shared that and made that go viral, like in our community, hate kills. you know, uh, that's the only thing that may kill just as much or maybe more than diabetes is people's hate. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
now I got to look at these folks like y'all might be responsible for some of these deaths by holding out on sharing life-saving
Mhm.
information. How many people did you kill? How many people could we have saved if
Mhm.
you just put your personal differences, maybe with
Mhm.
me or how I talk or how I dress, aside and shared that information? You know what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
here it is today. They like, damn, bro, we really need that information to get out there because you know, Deion Sanders just got his toes cut off.
No way.
And I'm like, Deion Sanders just got his toes cut off. What the hell? So
Not prime time.
prime time. He just as black as the devil.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So we all susceptible to these sugar issues, you know what I'm saying? And when I
Wow.
looked into it, celebrities like that, they don't really put their business on front
Right.
streets. So
Right.
they said it was a complication of turf toe, which is a complication of something else, and a complication of something else. But when I looked into it, I was like, okay, yeah, that's sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sugar right
Yeah.
there, right? I
Yeah.
know what it look like. If it walk like a duck and quack like a duck, that's a duck. So just those things. And like, people will, instead of getting my information, and it's a click paste, share. It literally takes less than 20 seconds to share my information. It's an article. I tell everybody, listen, copy and paste the article to your social media, put it on your website, send it via text message to your people, like share it.
Right.
But people are, in their mind, they're like, oh, I ain't trying to help. Or you got a lot of people, they will watch my information, study my information, buy my books, and then instead of properly representing it as my information, they'll go out and tell people, oh, well, I was doing some research on YouTube. And I got to be the bad guy. Be like, no, nigga, you wasn't doing no research on YouTube.
Right.
I am doing research on YouTube. You are just watching me.
Right.
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 Man. So, it gets crazy. Even to the point where there's a lot of holistic healers that are out moving around that are my students. And I'm like, yo, if you making money from my information, you created a business from what you learned from me. The least you could fucking do is share my article. Like, I shouldn't have to ask twice. I shouldn't have to make it a thing. Like, this should be a no fucking brainer, especially if saving the people is our focus.
Right.
If saving the people is our focus, we need, I'm like, bro, how long do we sit back and watch this shit go on? Because, you niggas got some shit going on where you competitively or maybe hatefully, spitefully not sharing the information that could have saved Dion his feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing right now?
Wow. Ego's a motherfucker, man. Like, the ego is a mug, man. Like, wow. They would say, and I believe in this, they say what gets revealed gets healed.
Man, that's listen. And it's crazy because, like, I be with my babies all the time. You know what I'm saying? I got 5 little ones. I'm holding my babies down. And, guys come and, it's just be so many different things with these guys that make them angry with me. You know what I'm saying? You got a $15, $25 a month child support payment and you delinquent, you mad with me because I'm hanging out with my children.
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Like, this is, like, what the fuck's going on right now? You know what I'm saying?
That's their conscious.
It ain't got nothing to do with me, and it ain't
got nothing to do with you. Yep.
And it got nothing to do with all these people out here that need this information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it don't stop me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I said, the things we go through can define us, but not confine us.
I like that. And I did write that down. I would definitely give you credit for that, bro. Yeah, I'm a note taker, man. Like, this is what I do. Because I have to, for my learning curve, I have to hear it. I have to jot it down. That's my contract to the universe. This is what I need to do next.
Yeah,
and then
taker too. So you trust? Yeah, you ain't even got to explain it. I'm definitely a note taker.
All right, so give me like a quick rundown, because we know what the issue is. We might not know what caused the issue. We might not understand it, but just to that simplistic breakdown that you just did, so we know to understand the culprit is sugar, carbohydrates, right? So we know that's
sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, protein and meat can cause diabetes just as easy as sugar.
Yeah, because it breaks down to sugar, right?
No, it breaks.
No? Okay.
Yeah, it breaks down to saturated fats.
Okay.
I'm saying, well, not the protein itself, but the animal meat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It has protein in it, but it also has a lot of saturated fat.
Okay.
So, the sugar will work on the blood, but saturated fats actually clog up the muscle cells themselves. So, people who just eat crazy, they actually have both animals, they got both problems at the same time. They got sugar in the blood and they got intramyocellular lipids building up inside the cell. And that not only blocks the insulin from functioning, but blocks the GLUT4 molecules that actually do the transportation of the sugar when the cell is functional. So Yeah, so it can be, you know, you got a lot of people that'll have type 2 diabetes, and you know, um they may not have a sweet tooth. They may not eat sugar and snacks and all of those kind of things. So and they may even work out. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't understand that working out is not a just a general thing.
Right.
Working out is not a thing where any workout is just as good as the next.
Right.
For specific things, you need a highly specific workout, which is
You see,
where
sister.
martial arts came from. Mute your mic. Oh yeah, because we heard you.
Okay. No.
Yeah, I be having
Thanks.
daddy. Listen, I be having daddy moments all the time. You got to mute your mic.
I'm like, give it to your sister. I forgot to mute the mic.
Yeah. I'm a pro at daddy moments. Yeah. So, but yeah, you know that's what it is. It get a little, you know, even the workouts got to be tailored. People got to manage all of the symptoms that develop at the same time as they try to fight diabetes. So, you know, you may develop hypertension issues. You may develop, you know, circulation issues, clotting issues, and you know, it's just such a wide range of things that, um, you know, when you simplify it and you say, oh well, you know, it's just this.
Right.
You got to work on to heal. You know, you've got to handle all the stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Especially depending on how long it's been,
Right.
because a lot of us, you know, we don't like doctors. We don't want to go to hospitals. So, you know, you got a lot of people walking around that's pre-diabetic and diabetic that think that they're okay just because they haven't been diagnosed. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But they body be tingling, they feet be falling asleep, and all kind of things going on with them that are like, bruh, you know, every time they eat, they got to go to the bathroom and pee 10 times. You know what I'm saying? Like the urine smell like they drank liquor, but they ain't drink no liquor. Like it's a
Right.
bunch of things that, you know, if you know what to look for, it's like, bro, you got diabetes. I don't care if you never go to the hospital. I can tell you
Right.
now, either you got diabetes or pre-diabetes, because
Right.
this is how that goes. Bang, 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 bang. So there's a lot of us walking around with these issues and we never go in. And then what happens is we'll develop other problems, and those problems will take us into the hospital. And because of, you know, how we haphazardly deal with our health, we won't even really address the root cause of the issue. So, you know, we deal with symptomology, and in that space, the root cause is able to keep on running rampant and destroying and breaking down other areas of the body.
So here's questions then. So can we reverse it?
Absolutely.
Okay. What would be the first step to reversing it?
It depends on the person, you know, but for me, you know, like I have my number right there. Text 586-298-5000, help with diabetes for anybody that, you know, that's serious. And my first step is always the information, education. You know, that's my first thing. Um, you know, a lot of people, they want like a food list or herb that erases everything. Like that's not, you know, first things first is education. You know what I'm saying? You got to be educated out of type 2 diabetes, because we've been educated into type 2 diabetes. You know, our colonizer has had 300 years of us in the sugarcane field to study the effects of sugar on our body. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big issue in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? Learning that slavery had very little to do with cotton. You know, that's not what slaves were doing. They weren't picking cotton primarily. Picking cotton was a picking cotton for a slave was like they made it. You in the suburbs. You didn't hit the lotto. You like the Jeffersons. You moving on up. You was lucky if you was picking cotton, because in the cotton fields you could live to an old age. You know what I'm saying? And it was a torturous life, you know, and all of that. But you could still live the old age. You could have children. You might not, you know, raise your children, or you know, they might be sold to another plantation or whatever the case may be. But you can have children. You know, you could live to an old age. But in the sugar field, you know, you could only live about 7 years. That was the average lifespan. Yeah, 7 years. So they knew, you know, they had a long time of studying us, um, and the effects of sugar on us. You know, I can't say that enough. Like I need to say that a million times so people drill that into their mind. Like they had 300 years of studying the effects of sugar on you. So there is almost no there's very little chance that this is accidental, where type 2 diabetes is, you know, a black thing. You know what I'm saying? This is not a thing that just happened to stumble onto us. Because I was watching somebody, um, they was doing a video talking about diabetes, and they was like, oh yeah, and you know, for the last 50, 60 years. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. See, you don't know what you're talking about. This thing with us and sugar been going on since we was colonized here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's been going on since then. You know what I'm saying? So this is an ongoing process. You know, when we left the plantation, we took sugar with us.
Wow, that's deep. I'm trying to go through my notes because you said something to that effect, and I wrote it down. Um, when you was talking about giving people real expectations about healing, and I think it relate to your scroll. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was about to, yeah, yeah, yeah. In the
yeah, because
scroll,
it was talking about you was talking about in reference to people that has wrong expectations when it comes to healing. They think they get the medication, and they expect it to feel better in 2 or 3 days, and it's like no, you have to have the I guess that's part of the education aspect of it, where you say, listen, you're gonna be doing this for this period of time. Your cells need to heal, your muscles need to be healed, your body needs to relearn, and you know what I mean. So it's like giving that real expectation that people be like, oh, okay, and then they be more prepared for the long term. And the lifestyle change. That's what it was. You were saying that a wholesome lifestyle is attached to culture.
yeah. I mean, because
And
yeah, that's that because when we say lifestyle in these pockets, we divorce it from reality, you know, and we
mhm,
don't realize that how we eat it almost is the centerpiece of culture. You
mhm,
know, people take pride in preparing the meals that their mama prepared for them and their grandmother prepared for their mama. And, you know, we go to certain restaurants at certain times and we have certain types of celebrations. And so largely food is like the magnet that our culture revolves around.
mhm,
And the culture that has been created
mhm,
for us is one that not only curtails our lifespan in terms of making sure that we have the shortest lifespan in
mhm,
America, but it makes sure that it limits our genius
mhm,
because sugar attacks the brain. It
mhm,
shrinks the brain and it put holes in the brain. Not only that, like I said earlier, type 2 diabetes is the leading cause of Alzheimer's and dementia. And you know, the biggest thing about that, and you know, knowledge, shout out to do the knowledge radio. But you know, knowledge was like, bruh, you got to make sure you tell every time you speak anywhere, I want to hear that. You
mhm.
got to make sure that people know that Alzheimer's does not start in old age. Alzheimer's starts in your 20s.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? It just takes 20, 30, 40 years for Alzheimer's to incubate. It has an incubation period. So,
Mm,
you know, people don't realize they have it until, you know, they at the supermarket and don't realize where their car is, or they get in their car and don't, they forgot how to drive home. But that, you're already building the tau proteins and the, destroying the neurons as early as 25, 26, 27 years old.
Wow. Now, is that reversible too, or is that just a done deal once that happened?
Absolutely. We
Okay.
actually are supposed to we're actually supposed to have anywhere from 500 to 700 new neurons a day.
Wow.
That's the regular patterns for our brains, you know what I'm saying, to produce, and sometimes a little bit more than that, you know. But again, the lifestyle and the culture don't allow for neurogenesis. And neurogenesis is, of course, a part and parcel of melanogenesis, because you can't have new neurons without more neuromelanin, right? A lot of people forget that. Like we have conversations about neuromelanin, we have conversations about neurons or brain cells, but a lot of people don't get that that's only one conversation. That's not two conversations. The neuromelanin is in the neurons or the brain cells. This is so there is no separate conversation. Neurogenesis is melanogenesis in your brain. So, we're supposed to constantly be producing and reproducing those cells all the time. That's the primary cell of consciousness in your body. Like that's, and most of our biochemistry starts as neurochemistry. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, our body, we wouldn't have made it. We wouldn't have made it this far as complex organisms if our bodies didn't have plan B, plan C, plan D.
Right.
You
Right.
know, when aging is tied to, for instance, mistakes with the nuclear DNA or whatever, we have a system for that. We have telomeres that are to keep the ends of the DNA capped and tight. We have histones that are to keep the DNA, because each cell has 6 feet of DNA. That's how long the strand of DNA is that's in each one of your cells, 6 feet.
Wow.
So it has to be wound up super tight like a yo-yo. And the actual body of that yo-yo is called the histone. So you have the histones that keep it wound up tight. You have the telomeres that keeps it bound tight so the ends don't fray like shoelaces. Like you got the tape around your shoelaces at the end. You have telomeres. Then you have sirtuins, which actually clean, tighten, and regenerate. You know what I'm saying? So we have a system for our nuclear DNA to stay fresh. Our mitochondria DNA that they're linking now to autoimmune disease and cancer. We have AMPK, and we also have melatonin. Both of those things cleans mitochondria, so mitochondria can do what it does. We have autophagy, where when we go to sleep, deep REM sleep, our body has specific groups of enzymes that moves around and repairs the hormones, tissues, glands. So every single thing in our body, we got a function, a set to replace. We just got to know how to turn these switches on. That's what it comes down to. How do we turn these switches on? Some of these things are done through diet, and some of these things are done through either physical or mental exercise. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just happen to be somebody that, when I was young, as a little kid, as a toddler, I was into magic. My love of magic grew into love of like science, mixing up, ammonia and bleach and making volcanoes and all kinds of, and then that kind of grew more into just anything I could learn about the body. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to learn, like I've always been interested in science, but in a real sense. You know, like it
Mhm.
has to be stuff that I can apply, or I can somehow see how it would apply. So I always
Right.
was like me centric in terms of my science studies. And so yeah, and that eventually wound up saving my life, saving my daughter's life, and countless other folks that we've been able to help out. So but it just started there, love of science and love of, so it grew from there. And we here, started from the bottom, now we here. Started
And it shows, man. It shows the passion for it shows, and that's why you're so good and so dynamic at it, because it's a love.
Yeah,
It's a labor of love. It's definitely a
definitely.
labor of love.
And doing it so long, you get sometimes the same question over and over, or the same objection, or you get to watch people and you see where they constantly, from going through, like I never introduced something to people that I haven't went through myself. um so making your own mistakes, noting those, like, okay, yeah, I fell off here, setback here, setback there. Then when you start dealing with other folks and you start noticing that they just naturally are inclined to repeat those same mistakes and setbacks, you start to, you know, hopefully you start to look for solutions for those issues. And you go,
Mhm.
oh, okay, yeah, no, this is why that's happening. Oh, you just became a vegan. Okay, and you low energy. You thinking about switching back to eating meat because your energy's not up. No, before we do that, how about we do this? Let's focus on getting a little bit more protein in. Maybe take some hemp powder or some pea protein, or
Mhm.
eat more peanut butter, almond butter, nuts, or whatever the case may be. Get more quinoa. It's a zillion ways we can increase your amino acid intake on a vegan diet. Let's get a little
Right.
bit more aminos in, and let's exercise. And let's
Right.
let's use specific exercises, not just general doing anything. Let's do some specific exercises that are going to speed up your mitochondrial biogenesis. And then they usually go, what? Nigga, what did you just say?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, um, in your body makes creatine, and most people, they've never really heard of their body making creatine. They just know
Right.
creatine from, like, the vitamin shop or GNC, but your body makes it to help recycle ATP. And as a part of your body being efficient, or maximally efficient, anything that your body doesn't need to do, it'll down regulate. So that's why you have to be mindful of what you're taking, because you might stop your body from doing it on its own. So
Wow.
that's one of the
Yeah.
things they say with, like, steroids. If you keep taking testosterone for too long, your body will adapt to the external source of testosterone and stop producing internal testosterone. And then that'll be problematic. Um, so, if you're eating meat, chicken, beef, turkey, whatever, it doesn't matter if it's red meat, white meat, whatever, fish, you know what I'm saying? Your body gets used to the creatine from the outside source, because you eat the animal, it's in the muscle tissues of the animal,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Creatine. So you're getting small amounts of creatine in your meat all the time. So that lowers your body's production of creatine.
Mhm.
So now when you stop eating meat, your creatine level drops. So your energy level drops. What you need to do is stimulate your cells to produce more mitochondria. If you boost the number of mitochondria, you will boost the amount of creatine your body produces, and then you'll be right back on top of your game, in no time. Um, that was something that I noticed with myself, and then just going through the numbers, and that's a part of the article, is showing people that this is something that we did, in terms of our research. That was the better part of a decade. So we ran into a zillion different things. Um, Sometimes people try alternative program for healing one way or another, and because they don't get the results that they're looking for overnight,
Right.
they go back. And sometimes I just, sometimes I just go in, you know what I'm saying? Because, our people be backwards sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had people, for instance, I've had people that may have been diabetic, right? They taking insulin for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They
No question.
they with no question. In
Right.
fact, every year they need more insulin. They got to
Mm.
boost up the prescription of more insulin because the body's getting weaker and weaker. And they never question it. They never say that the doctor's scamming them. The doctors, they never say that the doctor's scamming them. They never say the medicine is scamming. But if they come to you and your herbs don't knock out diabetes in 2 weeks, oh, you running a full-blown scam. You out there scamming.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I said, these niggas are insane.
Yeah.
And a part of it is self-hate, because they don't understand. And that's another thing about the article is I really want people to understand their greatness. I really want people to understand how powerful they are. You beyond, your potential is beyond measure. It's taking these folks, they got to work overtime to keep you slow. They got to work overtime to keep you sick. They got to work overtime to keep you unhealthy. They got to work overtime to keep you subservient. You're great and your potential is unmeasurable. You know what I'm saying? So just all of those things, learning that if we dealing with whatever, like just any illness that we're dealing with, your whole body is made out of cells. So if you have an issue per se with, any group of tissues, whatever it is, whatever regimen, whatever healing protocol that you're on, that healing protocol has to be at least as long as it takes your body to reproduce those cells. Or you doing something that what you're doing don't even make sense. If it takes, for instance, people talking about, oh, I'm cleaning my blood, I'm about to take me a detox this weekend. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
It takes 100 days to replace all your blood cells. So you taking a detox this weekend is going to do what? That's
Right.
going to give you a bowel movement that you looking at you. So you just looking for number 2. You're not looking to clean your blood. You can't be looking to do that in 2 days. That's not how that works. You've got to have 100-day plan set for that. Like just understanding these cellular patterns and, being able to couple them with the right nutrients in the right amounts. And then, try things, work, trial and error, even changing the application of the healing methods over time. And then also sometimes changing the formulas to the compounds over time, to be able to, just tighten up, add things, take things out. This right here, but let me see, where am I pointing? Oh, right there, bang, this guy. Yeah, there you go. That right there is a formula that I put together. I want to say that's the 3rd herbal compound that I made, but over the years, it's had a few different names as I changed the formula up a little bit. And the more I learned about the pigment system in the body, the more, I was able to tweak and tailor and tweak and tailor. So that right there is put together to boost your body's NAD performance, boost your body's overall melanogenesis, right? So it's photoactive. So you need to obviously couple it with light, but it can boost up the body's melanin output 500, 600%. And then increase the time that it lasts maybe 6 or 7-fold. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know what I'm saying? We've been in the lab, we've been working, you know.
Yes. So, question. So, if a person was to call you and say, "All right, listen, I got issues," and I don't. Fortunately, I don't have no issues. I get a checkup every year. I don't have like I'm not taking medication or I haven't been uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Labeled with any ailments like that. But I
Gotcha.
just want to have a better quality of health. I want a better quality of life. So do I still call that number and just follow your leadership
Sure,
from that standpoint?
sure, why not? Absolutely.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, 'cause I'm
we alive in America.
right.
We live in America, you know what I'm saying? So um we all have things that we
Something.
need to work on. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Right.
no such thing as, unless you've been living in a bubble. And even
Right.
that didn't even work for Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He died from health issues. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
so this is a, we just got to work on this thing day by day. When we fall off, we just got to get back up and get back on it. You know what I'm saying? And because we all have those cycles in our life where we just are highly meticulous and motivated to be meticulous. And
Hmm.
then we have those periods where whether we just feel lazy or we got other things that we chase and we kind of just don't pay attention to what's going on first. You know what I'm saying? We worried about healing everybody else except ourselves. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
there's always something to work on. Yeah.
All right. So you said the breakthrough came from ancient texts, right? So you was talking about the Eye of Haru and how that's yeah, talk about that. Talk about how that's the equivalent or the simple the ventricle system.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you kind of gave it up right there.
Oh,
That's
my bad.
Yeah, yeah, no, no,
My bad.
it's cool. But that's what it and that's kind of got me a lot of hate mail right now. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people that's angry with me about that. You know what I'm
Why?
saying? Because well, a lot of people have built identities in our part of the metaverse. Like we live in the part of the metaverse that's based around intelligence and knowing ourselves and our history and so we have different mansions, so to
Hmm.
speak, in the metaverse. And the Kemetic or ancient Egyptian one is one of the more popular mansions that everybody likes to visit. And some
Hmm.
folks have built lives around their identity as being a Kemetic scholar or
Hmm.
Kemetic historian. So people have it tattooed on them, the Eye of Heru, all and you know, it's like there was no middle ground. You know what I'm saying? When some people seen it, immediately they was like, "Oh my God, this is insane! It makes so much sense." And so people were happy, but then on the flip side, you had the people that was like, "Man, fuck," like because they felt like it's a threat to whatever it is that they're doing because they're still teaching people the wrong information. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're telling people
Right.
that it represents the cerebellum and this thing and that thing and the other thing. And then some people get even weirder and say that somehow the Eye of Heru is a part of the chakra system, and the Kundalini runs into the Eye of Heru, and like just all kinds of foolishness that's just
Hmm.
not right and exact. So when you speak truth to power, you know what I'm saying, it's dangerous. But when you speak truth to brainwashed,
Oh yeah. Oh.
you man, you rather be speaking truth to power. You rather be speaking truth to power because the brainwash is more
Exactly.
dangerous than deadly than so
Yeah, they kill you for it. They get
woo,
to the point too. They will kill you. They will kill you.
yeah,
Wars has been fought over
man.
ideology. Um.
That's what all the wars are fought over, ideology.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it gets a little crazy, but it represents the ventricle system. Um, and that is the source of your energy, power, consciousness that lights up the brain, regulates the hormonal system, keeps track of time, all of the above. It starts right there in the ventricle system. So even over the years, you know, a lot of the praise and fame and glory, you know, that people, because, you know, the pineal gland is a rock star.
Yeah.
Pineal gland is a rock star. But what people don't know is that the pineal gland is an outgrowth from the third ventricle. You know what I'm saying? So the pineal
Right.
gland is part of the ventricle system. And once I understood that piece, then it started to make me look at all the other pieces up there differently. You know,
Right.
now I wanted to know what's up with the pituitary. Oh, the pituitary is located on the third ventricle. Oh, what's up with the suprachiasmatic nucleus? The suprachiasmatic nucleus is like a cell phone case to the third ventricle. You know, so I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. So now I'm like, wait a minute. So this ventricle thing is, you know, this is a whole different. You know, it's more to this than I thought. You know what I'm saying? And as I started to go through um, the ancient texts and some of the other stories, and it just started to line up with what I knew about neuroanatomy and neurochemistry. And so you know, then there was some more advanced studies on the movement of cerebral spinal fluid. And you know, so it was a journey, you know what I'm saying? But once you get to the finish line, it becomes, the excitement transfers from the study and the information to, we've got to share this. We've got to get this to everybody. Like, everybody has to see this. What do you mean? Like, yo, and I'm sending it to everybody. Like, yo, you know, I would love your opinion on this. Share this with everybody. Like, get this.
Right.
Don't, you know, like, everybody needs this. Like, what are we doing? Like, I got it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, we've been looking for this shit for 400 years. We've been trying to figure this out. I got it. You know what I'm saying? Put shit, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I could have been a goofball with it. You know what I'm saying? I could have easily been a goofball with it and been like, you know what? I'm publishing this as a book. I'm putting out a new book. You know what I'm saying? Pay me to get this. You know what I'm saying? That's what I could have did. I could have turned that shit into a book and said, pay me, and charge niggas $100, $200, $300 for the book. But, you know, I just feel, you know, to whom much is given, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you know, I'm like, listen, here's the cost of this information. You got to share it with some other folks. That's the cost. That's all I'm charging you to get this, huh? Share it. You know what I'm saying? And niggas will not share it. They will study it like nobody's business, because it's almost like passing somebody some gold bricks. They like, I'm sorry, what you want me to do with this again? You want me to give this to such and such? They like, hell no, I'm holding on to these. I'm about to turn this into my own.
Right, exactly.
So now I'm getting ready to tell people that I've discovered, hey, if you're melanin, if you So, you know,
and I love that about you too, bro. I love that about you too, that you are you have enough self-love and a self-appreciation to say, you know what, I did this, and this is your legacy, and you're deserving of having that legacy. Because a lot of people don't. A lot of people are ultra humble and be like, oh, well, just take it, and somebody else steal it, and they die broke and poor, and
you know,
they generational.
They just don't know any better.
Right.
Because in science, that's how science actually goes. These goofy ass niggas don't understand when they've been brainwashed. So they don't know that when you talk, like, for instance, we refer to the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle is named after the guy who discovered it. Like, that's how biology works. When you do the research and you find a new cycle of energy or whatever, and mineral transfer, redox, whatever it is, when you find a new pathway or cycle, it's named after after you. That's like finding a star. When you locate a new star in the sky, they name the star after you, or you locate a comet or whatever, Halley's Comet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you name it after the person who discovered it. So, but you know, we got crabs in the barrel syndrome real bad. So we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? If your brother turn around and tell you he discovered some shit, you like, perfect. I could take advantage of him. So I'm going to tell people, I'm going to study the fuck out of it. And then I'm going to be telling people, I came up with this. I have some herbs. I'm not telling people about this, because then people buying my shit might buy Enqi shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you know, like we're not thinking, we thinking in lack. We're not thinking in wealth and abundance. We're thinking in lack. Because I don't know anybody, in all honesty, not even me. I don't buy one person's thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, even I make shit. I still got a zillion other people's products and shit all throughout my house. You know what I'm saying? Different people's herbal compounds, smoothie shit, all kinds of shit I buy. Right. And that's everybody else. You know what I'm saying? They might buy some of Sabi's herbs, but they might also buy some of mine, or some of this person's or that person's, or, you know, this queen or that queen. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody has one set of products in their house. Everybody buys different herbs and vitamins and minerals from all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So
it's enough to go around. It's definitely enough to go around.
You know what I'm saying? And this right now is too important for us to it's too important for us to play this that close to the vest. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that fucked me up to hear about Deion Sanders getting his toes, you know, not all of his toes, but I think he got 2 or 3 toes. Like that, come on, because I know how that game go. That's the beginning of the end. Once you get any amputation done, and they know how this goes. The doctors know how this goes. They got you on a timeline. First of all, from the moment that you're diagnosed as pre-diabetic or diabetic, from that moment, they have your timetable and they have your money chart. So they know that you're going to spend $10,000-$15,000 a year on medication. Then they know from that first day you was diagnosed, within 10 to 20 years will be your first amputation. They know that from your first amputation, you'll be dead within 5 to 8 years.
Wow.
So that means it's 2022. Going by the normal timetable, Deion Sanders won't make 2030.
Wow. Well, all that money.
So, I mean that, but see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The money becomes problematic.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna tell you how the money becomes problematic, because that again prevents people from getting you the right information. Meaning, so many people want to get at Deion and be in position around Deion or Michael Jackson or Prince, right? Or any of these people that have money or that are an opportunity, right? Especially if you're inside the healing business anywhere. If you're a nutritionist, dietitian, chef, herbalist, naturopath, you know, whatever it is, you want to be the one that the celebrity person needs. You want to be the one that the celebrity person hires. You want to sell them your herbs. You want to sell them your workout plan, your yoga thing, or your massage, whatever it is. So you're not going to share my article because in your mind, that's messing up your opportunity. Instead of thinking, if I get Enqi in position, Enqi's going to owe me. Enqi going to have to put me in position because I'm the one that got him through the door. So if he don't hold the door open for nobody else behind him, he going to at least hold the door open for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how a motherfucker's supposed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? Go, you know, stretch your arm out and reach one. You know what I'm saying? Each one teach one, stretch your arm out, reach one. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how that's supposed to go down. But we don't, you know, so when you're like that, you're almost like alone when you're a Dion or when you're a LeBron or when you're in that position, because anybody that has access to you, they're going to block access to everybody else.
Right.
So you wind up not being able to get the right information. You know what I'm saying? You wind up an island of one. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wow.
um, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And
crazy. That's crazy when you say that. It takes me back to a time when I was doing I was a columnist for Black Star newspaper. It's a community paper, and I had the opportunity to interview, like not interview, but be in a same space with Michael Jordan, and it was like maybe like 20 individuals in the same room with Michael Jordan, and it was my time to ask him a question. And I was like, I said, "What do you miss?" Like I'm quite sure you don't miss anything. You Michael Jordan, you can do anything, you can have anything, you can do anything you want. I said, but if there's one thing that you miss, what is it? What is it that you miss? And he took a minute. He was like, you know what? He said, I miss interacting with people.
mm,
He's talking about the most popular dude on the planet,
yeah,
right? He said, when I go shopping with my family, they had to shop them. They had to shut them
close
all
the
down
stores. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just for me to go shopping with my family. He said, I don't have the normal interaction with people. He said, I miss that. We
Yeah.
don't think about that. We take the daily blessings and daily miracles that we interact with every day for granted. We really do. And we wish to be somebody else that's everybody look up to and everybody admire. And it's like, but
Put
we
your work
witness,
in. Put your work in. You'll get there, put your work in. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but it's not as glamorous as people think. I mean, like
Yeah.
it just really put things into perspective for me because
Yeah.
I'd be like, damn, I can't shop with people. I can't like hang out with people. I can't. You don't know who to trust. You don't know if they rocking with you because they're looking for the bag or they're rocking with you because they love you. And that's just like a real crazy space to be in. We want
Yeah.
the access to wealth and we want those things, but it's like, do we have to really risk that to get the bag? So I always say I'd rather be rich than be famous. I'd rather be wealthy to be famous because there's a lot of people that I bang
Well,
with. You would
that
never know that they're wealthy. You would never
I,
know that they're wealthy.
I was about to say the dynamic is different,
Hmm.
you know, um, and I guess it's a byproduct of bad communication
Hmm.
from generation to generation.
Hmm.
But like I say, I'm 44. So my dad's generation and those guys, wealth was synonymous with privacy.
Hmm.
The wealthier you got, the more private you were supposed to become.
Hmm.
You weren't supposed to be like hyper flashy or, all over the place. You had to be, understanding that wealth is danger. You know, you,
Mm.
you have to be more recluse. You have to move different. Whereas today, because of social media, you can become famous and still be broke.
Yes.
No, 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 no. This is why
No, that's real.
this
That's
is why
real.
killings. This
That's
is why the
real.
killings. Yeah, the killings and the robberies are so high
Yeah.
in the community because a lot of people, because of social media, you're putting yourself out there in a way that you may not have reached yet.
Right.
Because we want to look like we got more than we really got.
Right.
And um, the thing that people don't understand, about like getting money, because these people aren't really from the street. But I'm from 158th Street in the Bronx. My dad
Mhm.
was a king in Harlem in the drug world. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, there are things that I may have seen or learned that just average people don't know. And One of them is when you're making money, the actual process of it day to day, you either are daily building up love and respect amongst the people that you move around with,
Mm-hmm.
or you're sowing the seeds of hate and discord, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, what the young guys now don't understand is that when you even saw maybe some of those older guys that were flashy, they might have had the cars or the furs or the jewelry or whatever. They're not wearing those things just simply because they can afford to purchase them.
Right.
They're wearing those things because they've built up either enough love amongst the people that they're wearing those things around, or enough fear that they can wear those things comfortably and it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas nowadays, you know, people are buying fake
Yeah.
stuff, and if even if it's
Yeah.
real stuff, people are maybe signing a record deal, getting a lump sum of money at once.
Right.
So you're going from a broke guy on
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday to
Right.
negotiating a deal, and now you got $500,000 on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So by
Yeah.
Saturday, you already got yourself a new car and a chain, and you back to the neighborhood. Now, when
Right.
you get back to the neighborhood, they only know you as dun dun. Like you
Right.
didn't you haven't earned the respect of the guys in the street, the old folks, the senior citizens, the children don't look up to you. So
Mm-hmm.
there's not that invisible wall of protection that will
Right.
allow you to celebrate yourself that way. You
Right.
haven't earned the right to
Right.
celebrate yourself in this
Right.
neighborhood, buddy.
Right.
So let us relieve you of these trinkets.
Right.
let us remove these trinkets from
Right.
thine ass, and yeah, don't worry about it. We're gonna take care
Let
of
me
this.
bring you back. Yeah. Let me bring you back. Yeah. Let me bring you back home. Yeah.
This is who
Yeah.
you are. This is who you
Yeah.
are. You haven't earned these by love or by force. So we're gonna take these from you. You know what I'm saying? And then be smart. Don't come back around here with no more of this
Right.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Or we're gonna take that too.
yeah. So
Or you can, feed the community and become like the Robin Hood. I mean, like,
one
yeah.
way, one way or another. And that, but that analogy, that that's how it goes in the neighborhood. But that
Yeah.
same story and cycle plays out in other places.
Yep.
So even when you get to a more intellectual sphere, people need to see your work. People need to see your
Right.
grind. So I don't have to tell people that I've been doing a 40-day fast with thousands of people for the last 10 years or so, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody saw me doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So um the when they read the article, first of all, some people know that they was participants in some people know they was
Yeah.
participants in it, but when they read the article, this is not something that, like I just popped up overnight from out of nowhere, like, yo, we was doing 40-day fast for 10 years. People like, where? No, we was
Right.
doing it in every state in America, on every continent of this globe. We have had people that did the fast with us at least
Wow.
one or two times. You know what I'm saying? So
So
um
are you doing it again, or is that an
I did,
ongoing thing? Or
but normally we do it or at least one of the three times, or all three times, you know what I'm saying? January, I try to run it beginning of the year.
okay.
Um our time that we initiated it was in the middle of the year, so that way it would overlap on my birthday and my daughter's birthday, Tony. We cancers. So we
Right.
usually start that one on June 3rd and let it run into July. Um,
Okay.
and then another fast we like to run, sometime around, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, to offer some protection. But um, no, this year I didn't do anything because I was in the lab, perfecting the paper, getting the article
Right.
together,
Right.
writing it, rewriting it, throwing it in the trash, starting again, writing, rewriting. and just trying to collate and get all the information together to really get it out to the masses and say, okay, we've studied enough, we got it perfected. We got it perfected. You know what I'm saying? Now we ready to get this out to the masses and really change the world now. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been, for me, you know what I'm saying? It's slow. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though um when we sat down and really calculated up how many people participate in the fast, it's over 100,000 people.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've been doing it for 10 years. Even when we first started the fast, it was city versus city. You know what I'm saying? So we had a lot of people, because we it was Philly versus Ohio versus New York versus Chicago, and then at the same time we had a group of ladies go back to it might have been Ghana, but they was from Africa somewhere. So even when we did it the very first time, it was already in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
They went back to Africa and did it. And as because it was so successful, people, by the time the second or third year rolled around, to be honest, people was doing the fast all the fucking time. Like, because I wrote books and put it in books.
Mhm.
So people buy the books, and then, they're taking my book and they at their job and they doing it with their coworkers in the middle of the year or whenever. You know what I'm saying? They got the books.
Mhm.
So they like, listen, lady, girl, we're gonna do this whoop whoop or whatever the case may be. So it got, it grew legs and really spread around the globe on its own. So I'm sure right now there's probably 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of people, doing the 40-day fruit fast,
Okay.
following my book somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So
So is that the name of the book?
eat right for your haplotype.
Okay. All right.
Eat right for
So
your
I would definitely order that one.
Yeah, eat
All
right for
right.
your haplotype. That book goes into I wrote this book probably after maybe 5 years or so of doing the fast. I had a lot, like, this article was gonna come out then, but
Mhm.
it would have been premature. It was still things that I needed to work out. You know what I'm saying? But in the book, I start the book up talking about different haplotypes and cell groups and differences in physiology amongst, like, different groups of people. Um, talk about types of research methods. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I was getting ready to, come with this paper, so I wanted people to understand what we were doing. The fast is in there, and then all of the protocols for, the most popular illnesses that we were dealing with, from acne to diabetes to cancer to HIV and all that kind of stuff, is also in the book. So
Is that the cellular patterns that you was referring to earlier?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
this is the first copy that ever came off the press.
Wow.
I done tore this up because
Awesome.
I still use it all the time. I still refer to it all the time. I'm still looking in there, finding stuff. And is
So
this a
what's the price on that?
I think they probably on sale now for like $100 or
Okay.
$150. Yeah, I
Okay.
think they're on sale. Um, so
All right.
we were able to really fine tune, what we were doing, what we learned. Um, one of the largest, I want to say one of the largest findings, I guess, that even directed us towards neurochemistry and Ayahiru, was the fact that we noticed that across the board, no matter what race the person was, what illness or what their health status was, we just noticed that people function better with less calories. you know and we had been told for so long that calories was a thing, like you need to have calories for energy, calories for energy. And that probably was the biggest of biggest discovery and breakthrough that I made is that your body has a whole entire another pathway to produce energy that has nothing to do with food.
Mhm.
And the more pigment you have, the denser your pigment, the more access you have, or the more you're able to utilize that energy that's being produced in the cells from directly from water.
Mhm.
And so, looking up cellular respiration in Encyclopedia Britannica, and seeing that they had water as a waste product, these are the things that just blew my mind to the point where like, and I guess I've always had certain curiosities, you know what I'm saying, like just learning that melanin absorbs light. You start to pick at certain lies, and be able to break them down and figure some stuff out, you know what I'm saying, because, or at least me, the way my mind works, you know what I'm saying, because we learned that melanin absorbs light, right?
Mhm.
And we kind of all knew that, right? That's something we all knew, you know what I'm saying, but fewer still of us knew that sound is a form of light, you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So that's a thing. But then understanding that energy can't be created or destroyed, that's one of the laws of thermodynamics, right? So the question then becomes, if energy can't be created or destroyed, and our melanin is absorbing light all day, like right now, you're sitting in a room with light, right? Your
Mhm.
computer, are you using a computer right now?
On my phone.
Okay, so your phone is giving off light, right?
Mhm.
So you got the light bulb, you got your phone, you may have a light somewhere to brighten up so the view, whatever.
Mhm.
What is your melanin doing right this second with the light it's absorbing? Like, that was a question that killed me, because I would ask some of the elders in the community, I asked teachers in school, I would ask, and nobody had an answer. I'm
Mhm.
like, this is insane. What do you mean? Like, clearly melanin has to be doing something with it. It can't be destroying, it can't be destroying it. It has to
Right.
be somehow transducing it. So looking around, the only thing that was out there were people floating these stories about melanin performing photosynthesis.
Mhm.
Melanin does human photosynthesis. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, nigga, that's more foolishness and brainwash. A
Yeah.
third grader, like that show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth
And
Grader?
then third grade. Yeah.
Clearly, you're not smarter than a fifth grader if you believe that melanin does photosynthesis, because when we learn photosynthesis in elementary school, we learn that
Mhm.
plants take sunlight
Right.
and turn sunlight into carbohydrates,
Mhm.
fruits and vegetables.
Right.
So clearly melanin doesn't do photosynthesis, or it would be turning into fruits. We
Fruits and
would be
vegetables.
right. We would be growing apples off our ears. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what we do. We don't
Right.
eat carbohydrates. So that was an earlier discovery of mine in and of itself,
Mhm.
that melanin is photovoltaic.
Mhm.
Melanin converts light and sound into electricity.
Wow.
See, that's the difference between photovoltaic or photovoltaism and photosynthesis. You're starting with light, photo, right?
Mhm.
But with photosynthesis, you're synthesizing food. As a photovoltaic substance, what you're doing is you're creating voltage, right?
Mhm.
Photovoltaic. It converts photons into voltage, electricity, right? So and that was I did that before anybody had ever heard of me. I found that out
Wow.
way before anybody had ever heard of me. This is the primary discovery, I guess, that allowed me to heal my daughter, because a lot of people know that story, that my daughter, broke her neck, her spine, and that's kind of how I got into the healing business. Um, but you might be the first person I told that to. is that, that in that order, that what allowed, like, so people know that I made the herbs, obviously, that I gave my daughter, that became Mama Atomics, whatever the case may be. But what people don't understand is that my research brought me to that finding first. So once I understand that melanin is photovoltaic, right? When the doctors tell me that she's going to be paralyzed for life if she makes it out of ICU, she might not make it out of ICU. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if she makes it, she'll be paralyzed for life. I don't accept that. And so because I
Right.
understand that melanin is photovoltaic, I sat down to put together the most photovoltaic inducing compound that I could, right? And so everything that I blended together in the formula were things to help convert light into electricity, to increase your body's ability to convert light into electricity. So it worked.
Wow.
It worked. And it worked so crazy that Dr. Lee, who was the head for pediatric trauma, you know, um, eventually he brung me down to his office to pick my mind. You know what I'm saying? And because I was like, it was all hell was breaking loose in the hospital because her mom was like totally against everything that I was doing. You
Of
know what I'm
course.
saying?
Of
Because
course.
the lawyer was getting in her ear saying, "Listen, if your husband or your daughter's father keeps interrupting what the doctors are doing, that's going to limit the amount of money that I might be able to win you in a lawsuit." So her primary concern was winning the lawsuit.
Get a month. Yeah.
My mind, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the lawsuit. My primary concern is to get my baby back. I need her out of
Right.
this fucking ICU immediately,
Right.
and I need to get her healed and back on her feet again. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I stopped like early in the ICU. I stopped them from coming to get so many blood samples because I noticed like they was coming to get blood like every hour, every 2 hours. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's the same as last time.
Right.
Knock it off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like she need, like she's in here with all these injuries. She needs her blood. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, well, I guess most people just don't know how the body works. So you could kind of tell them anything. They're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
the blood will replace itself. Your blood's always replacing itself every time. I say, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Tell that to these folks.
Right.
First of all, the rate that your blood turns over, if your blood turnover starts to happen too fast, that could become problematic all in itself.
Right.
You need your blood to facilitate all the other healing, to nourish the cells and get them to start regen. So I'm like, no, 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 no. You're not going to keep on. It's the same as last time, man. Come
Right.
back and skip this one. Come back next time. I'll be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so we go through that process. You know what I'm saying? And I'm dropping these little drops under her tongue while she's in ICU. So even that looks crazy because they looking at me like, yo, what the like, you know what I'm saying? Even the other parents, like it just looks crazy, to see somebody dripping some little drops in a person that's in ICU, so that was a thing, but she started healing fast and got up out of ICU in like 2-3 days. So then
Wow.
when she finally gets out of ICU, she starts to come to, but she's still in the bed, whatever the case may be. I'm stopping them from bringing the food. You know what I'm saying? And the first day or two, I'm like, you know what? Here, I'm returning some of the food tray. I'm like, we'll take this applesauce. We'll rock out with. No, you're not gonna leave that like that. We'll rock out with um, maybe an apple juice or orange juice or something, like some fruit or something. But after a while, I just stopped them all together. Like, listen, don't bring no food back here. Take the fork out. Yeah, so that is covered. Thank you. Um, But yeah, I'm like, this food, none of this food is healing food. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
coming with milk, you coming with dairy products, you
Right.
coming with all these meat products. I'm like, nah, man, she got to regrow. Like she got to regrow and regenerate, man.
Right.
None of this here works for that. All this here is
Right.
going to further jam up her system and slow down her body's healing ability, cut blood circulation, produce mucus. Like this. Nah, take all this back that way. Take this back with you. Matter of fact, give it to another patient. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And while you at it, take this off my bill. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure at some point, some part of my bill is this food here. Don't put none of this on my bill. We good on this. So I would make sure that I was getting her food, most of which was liquid. You know, she was on a mostly liquid diet while she was in there. I'm sure that there might have been other family members come in and try to sneak a little something, whatever the case may be, when I wasn't around. But I had her doing mostly green juices and certain specific things that I knew would stimulate the healing process, along with the herbs. And when we were successful, you know what I'm saying, we wound up healing. The accident was August 28th. I would say, inside of 6 months, she was back walking. She wasn't running and jumping around. You know what I'm saying? I still had to do rehab with her. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I had to take over the rehab. You know what I'm saying? So that was an issue too, because the rehab was kind of goofy. Like, you know what I'm saying? They was in there doing like toe raises, you know what I'm saying? And it's $1 zillion a session to go in there. They barely doing anything, you know what I'm saying? So I had she had like a full body cast on. Shit looked like RoboCop, you know what I'm saying? So I would literally carry her to we lived in a small 3-story building, and I would as a part of her therapy, I would like put her on my feet, like put her feet on my feet, and we would walk up and down the staircase. You know what I'm saying? So most of the muscle was mine because I got her feet on mine and I'm holding her body to me. But I'm working all of her body muscles, keeping the blood flow, keeping the muscle memory. So that right there, along with the nutrition, was able to speed her recovery. And word kind of spread around from there, and people wanted to know what I did and what was I giving her and all this kind of stuff. But in the midst of all that craziness, Dr. Lee had brought me down to his office, and he was like, "Yo, what are you doing, man? You disrupting my doctors and nurses. You're not letting us do our job." And I was like, "Well, I don't know if you sending them to do this, but what y'all are doing is not really, I gotta take this thing over. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know. It's like when you're a franchise player on the team, you know what I'm saying? If the team is, you gotta take over in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's winning time, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, y'all don't really know what y'all doing. Y'all giving my baby milk, and then I walk them through, just how these things that they're doing is, maybe leaching minerals from the bone, or, inflaming the tissues. And, we have this conversation, and it was crazy because when he brought me down there was other people in the room, and they was all taking notes. You know what I'm saying? Like a motherfucker. And I'm talking about, at this time, I'm not a naturopathic doctor. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not certified as any fucking thing. I'm just a concerned dad. I work at Verizon Wireless at Bay Plaza in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just but I've been studying the body since I was 11, 12 years old. So I have a wealth of understanding and knowledge and wisdom about so when I'm explaining to them all these things, they taking notes. And, at the end of the conversation, Dr. Lee's like, so what medical school did you go to? Where do you work at? I'm like, medical school? He's like, yeah, what college you go to? I was like, college? I'm like, nah, bro, I sell phones at Verizon. He was like, well, wait a minute. No, I mean, where did you learn that? Where'd you learn all that stuff? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, my own time. I taught myself most of this, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, early on, my dad taught me to, like, he made us voracious readers. And so, he didn't really push what we read, just as long as we were reading. He kind of told us nonfiction is, whatever, but he just pushed us to read, you know what I'm saying? So there was a point where I was so aggressive, like with reading and learning, that there's a point where the bookstores didn't really have any books for me. So my dad was like, listen, when the bookstores run out of books for you and you still looking for things, that mean it's meant for you to now start writing books. You got to write the book you looking to find. This may not be out there. That means that's the universe telling you that it's time for you to start writing books. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would go down to the different schools, different college campuses, and just go buy used books from them. So, it's not, the education comes from books. What you pay for when you go to school is you pay for your professor's time, and you pay for the name and notoriety of the school. The actual information, education is coming from the books, and those books are available for anybody to purchase. Anybody can go to a college campus and get the books for the curriculums there. You know what I'm saying? And if you can get through the book on your own, then shit, you don't really need the college professor or the school. You can just get the education yourself. And because most people are looking to have a career in a specific field, right? Like 99.999999999% of people that go to college to learn a specific subject, they're doing that because they have the set in their mind that when they're done with college, they're going to get a job. So in that space, they need to have the degree to show and say, well, I studied this over there, so I'm qualified to get this job. But again, for me, it was a hobby. I was already good, you know what I'm saying, with what I was doing money-wise. So I was never studying to be a healer or any kind of doctor, trainer, or any of that. I was just satisfying my curiosity because that's just how my brain is wired. You know what I'm saying? I was hungry for the knowledge of, so I ran through all the college textbooks. I used to go to the colleges and buy up the used books. You know what I'm saying? $50, $60. When you get them brand new, they be $300, $400, $500 a book. You know what I'm saying? But you get them used, them kids don't care about them books. They just trying to get some money back. $50, $75. So I go buy up the books and take them home and study them. So when Dr. Lee was like, where you learn all this stuff, I was like, on my own at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I still wasn't at the time even hip to maybe like Jewel Pookrum or Laila Africa or Dr. Sabi. I hadn't heard of any of these guys yet. You know what I'm saying? It's only after I got out and started to, people started to look at me a certain way. And even today, this shit still goes on. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will compare me to somebody that I've never heard of before. They'd be like, yo, you sound like such and such. And then I go, wait, you said I sound like who? I write the name down and then I go look them up and then I'll go buy the book, or whoever the person is or whatever the woman is or whatever, I'll go and buy their information or watch their videos and see where our similarities are and what I can learn from whatever, and keep, just continue to build and whatever the case may be. But that always stuck out to me, that these guys who were like the foremost authorities in their field in terms of pediatric trauma, they was all taking notes from me. You know what I'm saying? And that became like a pattern, you know what I'm saying? Because even like I said, when I lived in Philly, I used to do Sunday school with Minister Enqi, you know what I'm saying? Because again, before I was certified or naturopathic anything, the first certification I guess I got was as an ordained minister. So, everybody knows Minister Enqi. That name still sticks with me. And I don't mind people, like some people like, do you prefer minister or doctor? I'm like, I'm still a minister. You know what I'm saying? I still love the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, um, but as an ordained minister, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'll talk you to death. Go ahead. I'm sure you have.
No, it's cool.
Because we had an hour and 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll tell you my life stories forever. But
that's the beauty, though. I always try to present the person. We always deal with the scholarly and what we're known for and famous for and things like that. But the true lessons are always in why people do what they do. And that inspires others to encourage them to do what it is that they passionate to do or their life purpose. And so hearing people's life story, hearing your life story kind of like put me in perspective, because it was just like, I, you hear certain things that kind of trigger something in your DNA, but oh, I always had a knowing for that. Now I know how to move forward with that. Or okay, my daughter's sick. Let me go forward and do the education or do the research to heal my children. Like I can look at myself as the authority now. I don't look at the white coat as the authority no more. I don't look at the white person as the authority no more. I can be the authority over my life. And this is what you're presenting. You're presenting that you can be the authority in your life. You can be the person to say what's going on in your life. Take control of your healing. Take control of your mindset. Just take control. And this is why this platform was created. This platform was created for knowledge itself, self-discovery. Self-discovery equals empowerment. So this is what this is all about. So you can talk about all day. But I do have a couple more questions. And I was going to ask about that too, because the first time that I heard for the majority of my life, I always looked at white people as the standard, right? You'll go to the hospital, they say, all right, listen, your BMI need to be at this. And how do you know this? Like, I'm a whole individual person. Where do you get these numbers from? And so when I read Lalea's Africa's book, African Holistic Health, he's the first person to say,
to break down the differences between white folks and black. That right there, that to me. And I was it's funny you mentioned that, because I was just shout out to Knowledge again. Knowledge got me on a world tour right now. Really trying to help me spread this message. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even remember which platform I was on, but I was on a platform just within the last couple of days, and I was talking about Dr. Afrika and his books, because Dr. Afrika got a zillion books floating out there. But for me, you know what I'm saying? His two classics are Nutricide, and then I forgot the name of the other one, but I was like, it's a white and green book.
Yep.
And in the book, he lays out the differences. And it was for me the first time. I think it may actually be the first time. You know what I'm saying? That it was done laying out the differences in physiology and anatomy of white folks and black folks. But that, and the fact that he went into the history of holistic healing really deep in that book. Those are the two things that impacted me the most about. So that's what I recommend. Like, if anybody is trying to figure out who Dr. Afrika is, or maybe you heard of him, but you don't really know, like, those are the two books.
Yes, sir.
If you get those two books, then you will definitively know who Dr. Afrika was. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ever seen Dr. Afrika or been around him, you know what I'm saying? Not watching fucking video or YouTube and shit. But if you ever been to a lecture, you know Dr. Afrika for going crazy on niggas. Dr. Afrika snaps. You know what I'm saying? He goes the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the Nutricide book is like a really long, Dr. Afrika rant where he just going the fuck off on you. You know what I'm saying? And he spends a lot of time talking about sugar, and the effects of sugar, sugar jammed you up, and you know what I'm saying. So yeah, those would be the two classics for me right there: the Nutricide and what is it? The holistic
African holistic healing.
African holy. Man, I try to tell people all the time: go to
Yeah,
Amazon, get them books,
yeah,
buy them shits before they disappear.
yeah.
You know what I'm
They're
saying?
staples, man.
Yeah,
They
you need them
staples.
books. You need them
They
too.
definitely staples.
Because Nutricide is good.
Hmm.
I need to read Nutricide again. It's been a
Yeah,
while since I read it, and I like to read books over and over again. I don't like to like read a book once or like I cycle books because what
right.
happens with a book is in a way a book functions like a mirror.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
the book reflects you.
Right.
So if you read a book, you know, you'll get some jewels out of it. But if
Hmm.
you wait 6 months, 12 months and go read it again,
Yeah, it's a
it's
whole
going to
different
seem like
experience.
a
It's a
whole
whole different
different,
experience.
like a
Yep.
whole, because you know more. So now you can see more and you'll
Yep.
grab more because your
Yep.
mind is your mind. So yeah, and that's one of them books that you know is always good to read. You can read parts of it with your children, with your family,
Hmm.
because Dr. Africa acts a fool in that joint. Yeah, Dr. Africa acts a fool, period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was a wild one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I guess, that may be different with people who got conscious on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these
Mm.
folks nowadays, they getting conscious on YouTube. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They wasn't they don't have a time where they can remember being at an actual lecture, seeing Dr. Sabi on stage teaching. They don't
Right.
have the actual memory of being in the audience, seeing Dr. Africa, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, teaching or being around, you know, maybe them at an open festival or just,
Hmm.
you know, being in the mix to see these
Yeah.
people how they really was off stage. You know what I'm saying?
Cause that's a whole different energy. You know what I'm saying? Like to just get one form of that education. Because educating, you got to see, you got to hear, you got to feel it, you got to be
Yeah.
all these other
And you got to have a
inter.
certain amount of, you got to approach them, especially
Hmm.
maybe in Africa, them two specifically. You know what I'm saying? You got to approach them with caution.
Yes. Yes.
Because in the
Yes.
Q&A, you might ask a question and that shit could go any different direction. You don't know, you don't know where that answer going. You know what I'm saying? They might just give you a good answer, but they might, you know,
Right.
you might be the butt of a joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It might get crazy on you. You know what I'm saying? So,
All right.
yeah.
So give me a little bit when you say water as the focal point of energy production,
Yeah. So,
how does that work?
okay, so water, and we've kind of heard some guys like Gerald Pollack talk about structured water. Most people know him for talking about it, but he gets the studies from a guy named Gilbert Ling.
Mhm.
So the studies on structured water have been going on for a long time. My introduction to I think seeing water as more of a living just a magical living thing in and of itself
Mhm.
would be Mona Harrison. You know what I'm saying? Sister.
Mona Harrison. Yes. Yes. Yes.
She
Yes.
was
Okay.
she was tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, she left us too soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she was before Masaru Emoto. She was
Yes.
before Gerald Pollack. She was before
Yeah.
all these guys.
Yeah.
Way ahead of her time with this thing. But anyway, so we've had all of these people, Spanish, Oriental, white folks, black women, you know, we've had a wide variety of folks talk to us about structured water and the differences in the behavior of water based on its structure, its molecular structure, um, even different you know, when the molecules come together and you know, just some of the different things. But
And
um
programming.
right. But
Yeah.
something new was the discovery of coherent domains,
Mhm.
right? And so I had already been on track You know, my name is Enqi. That's the god of water. Like, you know, like it's so I had already been on track because I wrote a book called The Hydrogenes. And then that went out of print and rewrote the book 4 times bigger called Cellular Water. So I had been on the track of studying water for a long time. That's like been the center. Water and melanin have been at the center of my research since you know, that's always been my thing. You know what I'm saying? So when this discovery hits, that totally answered the like that finished my hypothesis because, you know, in my mind, I knew, you know, on some level that like the development of species on this planet, right? We know that at some point, this planet was full of single cell organisms.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that, to base the basal metabolic rate or the energy produced in a cell off of eating, to me, it never made sense. Because if that's the case, how did the single cell organism survive? They didn't have a mouth, they didn't have teeth, they couldn't eat sandwiches, they couldn't eat chicken, nor could they eat kale salads. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't
Right.
eat
Right.
kale salads and avocados. Like cells themselves cannot eat food. In
Right.
fact, a large part of our metabolism is turning the food into the substances that the cells can handle, right?
Right.
So I knew that there had to be another process for the cells to even survive long enough to coagulate into complex organisms. So at that space, I started to just go back and study cell anatomy and you know, you get back far enough, you realize that you know, mitochondria is a separate organism. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, kind of created a symbiotic, that's up for debate whether the cell captured the mitochondria or whether the mitochondria infested the cells, right?
Mm-hmm.
um but these two organisms created a symbiotic relationship, boom. But even still before then, is like, in my mind, I'm like, so what was the cell, how was the cell doing with it? And so the only thing that was abundant was water, right? That's what the cell was made out of, pretty much a really rinky dink kind of archaic lipid bilayer, I mean, membrane. And just, you know, some cytoplasm, which is basically water, and not many inner structures. You don't really have, you know, like microtubules and the complexity that exists now. So the only thing really cells had, you know, the cells on the top of maybe the water were exposed to light, but the cells beneath, where most of the cells were, the only thing that was really plentiful was sound. Whether you're talking about in the soil or in the ocean, sound. And so in my mind, my hypothesis was that somehow um, sound and or light were involved in this process. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say they from overseas. They discovered that in the process of water structuring itself, um, water creates these little cyclones, these little vortexes, these little coherent domains, but they're little vortexes, and that's the process of how water structures. You know, that's the process. It's part of the, like in Joel Embiid say from Philadelphia. You know, trust the process. And we kind of knew this intrinsically, that when negative ions meet positive ions, they begin to spin around. Like that's how tornadoes happen. That's how whirlpools happen. So your cells are no different. And they're able to take low frequency sound and convert that into higher frequency sound or light, and a cloud of free electrons are produced. Now, from these clouds of free electrons, um, in my mind, my hypothesis again, I'm like, okay, now this is an energy source. Got it. how does melanin get this? Because in my mind, I'm thinking melanin must be outside the cell, because all of the fucking school textbooks and all that, they don't really show inside the cell, like melanin. You know what I'm saying? So it was hell finding some good detailed, cellular um, pictures where you can see everything and you can see what's going on, and you're like, wait a minute, it's mitochondria. I mean, it's melanosomes everywhere inside the cell. So cells don't have, obviously a melanocyte can't fit in the cell, but um, melanocytes produce melanosomes, and the melanosomes kind of infest all of the cells everywhere. So they're inside each one of your cells, and they produce melanin. And that melanin is able to transduce that energy. And that's where the Enqi cycle comes from, my specific discovery in terms of this cellular system. Melanin is able to absorb these free electrons and hydrogen atoms and reroute them to NAD, and then NAD can jumpstart production of ATP via mitochondria. It can feed the NRF2 system, feed the sirtuin system, the pentose phosphate pathway. Like, all of these things are facilitated by NAD. But the relationship of the water to melanin to NAD is the Enqi cycle, which was one of like the primary biggest discoveries that we put out in the article. So with that understanding, it kind of made a lot of things that weren't making sense make sense, because the more pigment you have, the more access you have to this other energy system that has nothing to do with food calories. So this is why the less calories that people took in, the better they did, because you were getting a much cleaner source of energy production in the body. So not just a physical thing, your mental health, mental clarity, your memory, across the board. You know what I'm saying? I got athletes that was performing, like, what is this? Like, what is, what kind of, and I'm like, it's not a trick, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's those are just herbs, and this is, just this. And they just, it would just grew because, like I said, word of mouth spread, because everybody that participated on the fast in any level, everybody's results was, so like over the years, people throw dirt on my name, but that's pretty much all they could do, because the work speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? The science be right and exact. The herbs are very specific and potent. And the fast, everybody that participates always has amazing results. You know what I'm saying? So, most people, they're like, oh, yeah, but this nigga got gold teeth. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
horrible.
it's okay.
It's horrible.
I'm comfortable. If I didn't like gold teeth, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't have bought me none. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
them they be saying it like as if I don't know that I have them on.
Right.
Like, so but yeah, so we were really successful across the board, and I was just able to examine people from so many different walks of life on the same routine, the same diet. And once I understood that diabetes was really something that was attacking the pigment, I was able to then start putting a plant-based compound together to really jumpstart melanogenesis, neurogenesis, and rejuvenate and regenerate the pigment in the body. You know what I'm saying? So that became this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go. Bam.
Yep. You got it.
You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, we got a whole basic protocols together on the website. People can go get the kit. When you go to order the kit has like, okay, stop eating these things, start eating these things. get the sun, do this, do that, and it's just kind of like all there. So it just makes it easy and streamlined for me to be able to help a lot of people at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Where, people are going to ask you, all the same questions. Here's all the steps. Go here
Yeah.
and follow these steps. Now, when you start following those steps, if you got trouble or questions about what you're doing, hit me back. I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's why, I got my number there so people can text me like, yo, I need help, or my mom or my cousin, my sister, you know what I'm saying? And more people need help than they know because, like I said, a lot of people are not diagnosed.
That knows. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
have this weird shit going on in our community where niggas feel like if they don't go to the hospital to find out that they're sick, they're
They
not
ain't sick. Yeah.
sick.
That they healthy. There's nothing wrong with them.
Man,
Yeah.
that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. You know what I'm saying? They're waiting. And see, that's one of the pet peeves that I have dealing, as a healer, is that a lot of times people want to wait until they're damn near dead before they come see you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So even with like
Yeah.
impotence, I tell people, don't wait till you can't, you failing at sex to figure this thing out. If you wake up in the morning and before you go to the bathroom for the first time, your penis is not hard, you already should know from that first time that happens, you wake up and you got a soft penis in the morning, that something's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's only going to get progressively worse. A lot of these problems that we deal with have long incubation periods.
Right.
That's why they monetized the incubation period of diabetes.
Right.
Because there was once upon a time where you didn't start getting medication and all that until you had diabetes. But then they realized that they could make money off of the incubation period. So they start giving people medication for pre-diabetes.
Pre-diabetes, yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's an amazing trick because you're getting niggas to take medication before they have the sickness.
Yeah. They say that they are masters of illusion, man.
Hey, I said, well,
Masters
y'all
of illusion.
must be illiterate because pre means before.
Right.
So you're taking medication for an illness before you get the illness. No, nigga. This is the time for you to reverse your patterns and make sure you never get the illness, not become hooked on to the medication so that way you got, good drug taking habits. So when the illness kick in, you already got scripts and all kinds. Nah, nigga.
Yeah.
So, just all of those things,
Now this is the melanin disease kit you're referring to, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how much is that?
That is $1 million. No, I don't know how much it is. I know I know it's all together. It's a little bit over $1,000.
Okay.
Altogether, it's a little bit over $1,000. But on the website, the reason why I say I don't know how much it is because I'm sure it's on some type of discount. So it might be half price. It might be less than half price. You know what I'm saying? It might be $300, $400, $500, something like that.
Well, then I'm gonna definitely check on that because, like I said, I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track. And now, if it's a acute situation, dealing with why it's acute situation, not wait till we get chronic, and then you have to go through so much more to reverse it.
That's actually the basis of what holistic healing is supposed to be. A lot of people are confused because they think that holistic healers are they think the difference between a medical doctor and a holistic practitioner is that we use herbs and they use drugs. They don't understand that everything is different. The philosophy is different.
Right.
With that system of medicine, it's about getting sick or getting injured and then going to start the quote unquote healing practice or the curing practice. But on the holistic paradigm, it's totally different. You want to start your best practices so you never get sick. You know what I'm saying? Or if you do, you minimalize the damage from, the sickness or the complications or whatever the disorder it is. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's a preemptive strike.
There you go. There you go.
And just it's like it's like being a soldier in a way,
Hmm.
because a soldier is preparing for war when there
Hmm.
is no war.
Right.
You
Right.
know, when a boxer doesn't have a fight, they're still training because they know that
Right.
they will have a fight. So
Right.
being a holistic practitioner, and I'm not talking about being an actual healer, I'm talking about a person who lives a holistic lifestyle. Living a holistic lifestyle is means that every day in,
Hmm.
in in every way, in every meal, you're prepping yourself for exposure to a bacteria, exposure
Right.
to a virus, exposure to some sort of degenerative, something to go wrong in your body, or a misfolding of a protein, or some, you're prepping yourself every day to fight the environment
Right.
to stay healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas the other approach is kind of, I'm going to be in I'm going to live in as much as comfort as
Hmm.
possible, and the
Hmm.
things that feel good are good, and I'm going
Hmm.
to indulge in as much of these things that make me feel good as I can afford.
Hmm.
you know so we have a lot of chemical addictions, and and then if anything happens, then I'll go to the doctor, and the doctor will give me something that will get me back out here into the game of enjoyment and luxury, and
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
overdone, so and that's really not it. You know what I'm saying? But when you look
You're just managing your sickness.
at best, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But really, it's a step beyond that. You're creating your sickness,
There you go.
because
Yeah.
these things, like I said, got a long incubation period. So you have to live foul for a long time before diabetes sets in.
Mm.
You don't have one dozen of donuts and then all of a sudden you
And then
die.
it was something, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not one serving of fried chicken and then you got heart disease. That's not how it goes. You got to practice this shit over and over and over. You got to be very successful at being a foul nigga to yourself, basically,
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
years. You know what I'm saying? Your first cigarette don't give you cancer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, these are things we got to do for a long. We got to really work hard to make our body sick. Like
Yeah.
it's not easy. These bodies are very resilient and crafty on their own. So,
Yes.
but if you look on TV will show you that, right? Because
Hmm.
half of the commercials advertise alcohol and food.
Hmm.
The other half of the commercials are medicine commercials
Hmm.
to help to help fix whatever you got from the other commercial. So the illness came from the other commercial. Now they're gonna give you the
Right.
drug to counteract the shit that, and
And the cycle continues.
yeah, yeah.
And the cycle continues. So we are approaching the end of this show here. I actually could go on.
No, it's tight. It's good.
Would you
That's
be
good timing right there because I got to get these
yeah,
babies together.
yeah. So I know you have a very busy schedule.
But
I
yeah,
would
we
like to do
can
this again.
always,
I would like to do
yeah,
this on a monthly. I
yeah,
don't know if you're open to that, but I would definitely be calling you though, because I want, like I said, I want to definitely get myself
yeah. Do this on a
better.
monthly basis. That'll work.
Okay. All right, that sounds great.
Just
All right, so
hit up knowledge, and knowledge will make it happen.
okay, sounds
Knowledge is
good.
our father. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
He's Marlon Brando with his shit. You know what I'm saying?
yes, he is. He is. So I just again, I wanted to like um really show gratitude for the work. Because I know you said that the reason why one of the reason why you wrote the paper was to educate us on what diabetes actually is. But you said also was to stop the genocide against Black people and people of color through ignorance or scientific racism.
Yeah,
I mean, like, and this has been my life work since I came into knowledge itself. Um, this is why we are our own worst enemy. Because we don't want to know. And if it's because it's out here now. It's really out here now, and we have to have the discipline to make it practical in our lives.
Hey, let
Reason
me
why
tell you
I'm
something. It's tough niggas out here.
mhm,
They scared. They scared to read like articles about health shit because they so scared about they health because they know they living
mhm,
foul. Niggas is in
right.
Popeyes. They waking
Yeah.
up. You waking up. You having some sort of pastry for breakfast. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We feed our kids pastry for breakfast. Like
Hmm.
how the fuck insane is that?
Yeah.
That's even a breakfast item.
Yeah.
Pastry, whether it's a Pop Tart, a toaster strudel, a donut,
Anything.
a motherfucking glazed. Like where the fuck did we get this idea that the first thing we should put in our body is so? And here's the thing: the daily recommended. Let me make sure I don't get this right. I mean, I don't get this wrong. I was about to say, let me make sure I don't get this right. Um, Hold on. Yeah, because I got it because I be forgetting shit. Okay. So that's what I thought. Okay, so we're not supposed to have more than 100 calories a day of sugar,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
But
Right.
but but on average, we do that damn near every meal.
Yeah.
Especially at
Yeah.
breakfast. Breakfast be like damn near 150 calories of sugar. Like by the time you eat breakfast, you already over the sugar limit.
Yeah.
Because motherfuckers are damn near poor 40, 40 calories of sugar in their coffee. They turn the
Yeah.
shit.
They were
They
like
turn
this shit, holding the whole conversation. Why they?
yeah, exactly. They talking to you while the shit pouring out. Then some motherfuckers will start tapping it like, what the fuck are you doing? And then that's just in the drink. That's just in the
Yeah.
hot tea or the coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
That don't count the fact that now you want to have a bagel with
Hmm.
butter and jelly, or you want to
Hmm.
have a couple of donuts, or you want to have a donut with frosty chocolate. Like, what the fuck? This shit is insane. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And we
Yeah.
start our kids off with that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Our kids will have maybe we'll let them get the same pastry as us, but
Hmm.
maybe they'll get a hot chocolate.
Right.
And the hot
Which is
chocolate
worse.
with
Yeah.
the come
Yeah.
on,
Which is
come on,
worse.
come on. We
Wow.
was we was doing you know experiments, and we experimented with hot chocolate and just left it out overnight. And I cannot tell you the foul, rancid fucking smell that comes out of hot chocolates. You know what I'm saying? Because we went down a whole rabbit hole of chocolate, me and the children. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they was watching one of these damn food YouTube things, and they was like, "Dad, we want some chocolate." So I go to the supermarket. Long story short, so we get out of here. I get the chocolate, and I get the chocolate that I like to get chocolate. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I come back with like the 99% cacao, like real chocolate. You know what I'm saying? And it's bitter to the taste. It's not like so when I break it down into little pieces so everybody can get, everybody they like, Dad.
Hmm.
Like, what the hell? Well, I just went to the store, you know what I'm saying, to get the that's
Right.
what's up? They like, Dad, this is not chocolate, bro. This is one of them. This is a Dr. Enqi chocolate. I'm like, what is a Dr. Enqi chocolate? What that? They like, this is not real chocolate, Dad. I'm like, no. See, y'all confused. What y'all
Yeah.
thinking is chocolate is not real
It's not
chocolate.
chocolate. That's right.
Milk chocolate has almost no actual chocolate in it. It's almost 100% like milk and sugar and other
Hmm.
syrups and like so. We went down this whole, then we started experimenting to figure out all this. We get crazy in here with the experiments. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and we just,
That's real.
it's really like some of these food things. It's just if you don't know any better and
Hmm.
you in zombie land, you in the matrix, you know, our habits that we just take for granted are just insane, you know. And then how we get down, black folks, you
Hmm.
know, if your children get to school and they start acting up like this. when you was in school, and most of us never noticed this, right? And I know we gotta get out of here, but look, when you was in school, most of us never noticed this. But when I look back, I noticed it. I was like, oh shit, that's deep. The baddest kids that I knew was the most blessed.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Those of us that didn't really have shit, we
Yeah.
got we got empty fridges at home and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Them niggas was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was the kids that had money that was wow. You know what I'm saying? The kids that always had money to buy breakfast at the store, buy
Mm-hmm.
lunch at lunchtime, like
Mm-hmm.
those was the niggas that was wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I was an adult and fully understood what the fuck we was doing to these kids that I learned that it wasn't their fault.
Mm-hmm.
It was because they had access to other things.
Right.
So you didn't have no money, you had something super light for breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you had a few dollars, the first thing a kid is buying for breakfast is some sugary
Donuts. Yep.
madness,
Yep.
or maybe some chips and some cookies and some grape juice
Mm-hmm.
or fruit punch or
Mm-hmm.
some sodas and
Mm-hmm.
what happens is the caffeine combined with the
Mm-hmm.
sugar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Caffeine is an addictive substance by itself. The only reason caffeine is not illegal is because caffeine is not toxic, but caffeine is absolutely super addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and sugar is 8 times as addictive as cocaine. So when you
Yeah, and
combine,
Supernova said that too. Supernova said that.
so when you combine sugar and caffeine together, they synergize and become even more addictive than they would be separate. So what happens is when you have high levels of sugar in your body, the thing that your brain does is start to synthesize fight or flight hormones
Mm-hmm.
so that your nerves send signals to your muscles to make your muscles move
Mm-hmm.
because your body wants to get rid of the sugar either through urine or through movement. You burn it up. So how can the kids sit down in class and school and behave themselves if the motherfuckers all drugged up? He all sugared
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's impossible for him. But when you get in trouble in school, your parents going to yell at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I learned that some of the children, the children might need to get yelled at, punished, whoop their ass, whatever, whatever your program is. But some of these parents is the
Mm-hmm.
ones that really needed to get their ass whooped because you the one
Yeah.
who got them the milk, the cookies, the sugar, the
Mm-hmm.
frosty flakes, the all this other goofy shit to have in the morning.
Right.
So you didn't realize that you set them up for failure
For the rest of the day. For the rest of the day.
for forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that was one of the things I changed at home with my babies. I started to learn, how to activate certain portions of the brain, what nutrition goes with what. So, like, make sure they have like, bananas and coconut water, you know what I'm saying? For at
Right.
least on test days, you know what I'm saying? So they get the
Right.
best performance because the potassium kickstarts the part of the brain with memory and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway,
Is that in the book too?
nah, that's conversation jogs my memory, and then because I
Right.
be telling people sometimes they think I be bullshitting, just talking out, from ego or being arrogant, you know what I'm saying? But I be telling people all the time, I've been studying this all my life, so I done forgot
Yeah.
more shit than most people will ever learn about the human body.
Yeah.
And but
Yeah.
but now it's on wax, it's on video again, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. And I wrote it down too. So
yeah.
all right. So any projects, any upcoming works?
Yes, we're trying to get on Oprah Winfrey. We're trying to get on Good Morning America. We're trying to get on, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, my more immediate goals are probably getting to the guys with the larger platforms that really speak to the community. Like maybe a Shannon Sharp,
Mhm.
the sports community, maybe like Drink Champs or $1 million worth of game, or to get to the urban community and
Yeah.
just that's got to be the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like reaching, just getting it. Like I said, man, that shit broke my heart to hear Deion Sanders losing
Yeah.
toe. because I
Yeah.
know what that means. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I know that, and he's somebody. Obviously, he's neon Dion. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So anybody can break the mold as him, but
Right.
typically, from the time you start getting amputations, within
That's it.
5 to 8 years, you up out of here.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
for
Yeah, because
me,
that don't stop the spread.
well, it doesn't stop the illness.
Right. Okay.
And what it does is, because every part of your body is important to every other part of your body.
Right.
So there's nothing that you can cut off or cut out of your body that's not going to have an impact everywhere else. You
Right.
know. So yeah, it was just a crazy thing. And they actually wanted to cut more of his leg, and somehow he convinced them that, just to cut off the toes or whatever. So
Wow.
they know when they got you. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Once they got you, they know you a repeat customer. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They know that you're gonna be back, again and again and again. So yeah, it should get ugly, man.
Yeah. So where can people find you?
I'm out here in these streets. You know how the young folks say, I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I'm outside. I'm easy to find. But no. My
Wow.
number's right there. Dr.
Okay.
Enqi anywhere. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on, IG. I'm on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I'm out here in these.
Any closing remarks?
Um, people can people can get the whole, because I know the one thing that people are going to say, that they're gonna hear all this information, they ain't gonna remember none of this shit, and they're gonna say, "Hey, Doc, I saw your video you did with the
Mm.
brother, and where can I hear more of your music at?" I'll be like, "Nigga, we was teaching for 2.5 hours, and the only thing you
Right.
want to know is where to get the music." But the album is Sound Becomes Light, right? Even
Okay.
the album, the album I released a couple years ago, and even the album was already based on, the article. The article just came out this year, but like, people think that I just did this like right now. Like, no, this has all been long time coming,
Right.
So yeah, it's the album's everywhere though. I
Okay.
have my own record label, and but we released the album a while
Wow.
ago. So the album is out on, everywhere. YouTube, Apple, Tidal, wherever. So just type my name in, Dr. Enqi. That's what I'm saying. I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? If you type in
Okay.
Dr. Enqi somewhere, it should pop up.
All right. Because I was going to say, I was going to all your other accolades. I was going to add MC and superhero. After you told me the story about your daughter, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna add superhero to that, and then the MC, because the flow was
Regular
tight
Bronx
in the
shit.
beginning.
That's regular Bronx.
uh,
I probably need a whole nother, to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in the music thing for a long time. Like, I've been around. I mean, I'm from the Bronx, so it is what
right.
it is. Anyway, peace to the family. I'm getting up out of here. Peace to everybody. Peace to you. Peace to your kids. I hear them in the background. Go be a dad.
Yes.
I'm about to go get on my daddy's shit. We up out of here.
Oh yeah. And again, yeah. Oh, he went up right out. All right. So with that, family, that was the show. I really wanted to thank uh, Dr. Enqi for being on the program and sharing things that he shared. This is what the platform is about. This is what the platform is about. The number is there. Make sure you call them um, just to bust it up and get some information. Um, if you have any show topic ideas or resources to assist on this mission, please email me, Farugh, Farugh 1973 at yahoo.com. Let's see, if you found value in this presentation, please give and or continue to give to support no matter the amount. And in this tax deductible, we could talk further about that. Thank you for all the supporters and sponsors. We're gonna start linking up the sponsors very soon. We can you can great. We are solely funded by your generosity. Cash App, money sign BMa'at Inc. Also, Cash App, Knowledge through the Knowledge Radio, uh, dollar sign, Knowledge Born Allah. Um, that's it. That's for the show. As we always say, our slogan, Our slogan is "Be Ma'at and become a master of life." Black Power family. See you next week.